Hey guys, Jen from Big Heart Small Farm. I almost forgot to hit record. Tonight we are doing sort of like our version of a lazy dinner. So our version of a lazy dinner is ground beef and something called callaloo. If you're watching this and you're Jamaican, I know definitely you're familiar. If you're not, the closest thing I could compare it to would be a spinach. So we grow our own and we clean it and we bag it and freeze it. So we have tons, and to the point where over the summer we kind of got sick of eating it. So we freeze it and then we enjoy it throughout the winter, which is great. Very high in iron. It's a dark green, so it's also high, like very alkaline, right? So super healthy for you. So this is what we cook as I said, our lazy dinner. I almost forgot to hit play on this, so I've already started without you. I'll just take you over to the pot and show you what we've got going on so far. So right now we've got, as with everything, mostly, you do onion, green onion, garlic, a little bit of oil, and I'm just kind of like letting that simmer. It's definitely ready. So I'm going to add in the meat now. So the meat is here. It is the ground beef, and what I've done is I've just kind of added seasoning on top of this. So obviously, again, if you're Jamaican, you're going to recognize this logo. I've got Maggi, salt, and pepper on here, and I'm just going to take the ground beef and brown it up in the pot. And then once it's browned up, then we will move on to the next step. So a couple of things to talk about. One thing is this. This was my last batch of dehydrated green onions today. So that means after today, I'm buying green onions at the store again. I'm not excited about that. But we did quite well. It's January, almost end of January now. And we made it since, let me see, probably June of 2023. So that's not bad. No green onions between June of 2023 and end of January 2024. That's pretty good. Something to, strive for next year is more. And we will get there. We will definitely get there. So got that going, browning it up. So this is the other piece of sad news that I have today. We finished up all of our frozen thyme. So if you've watched my other videos, frozen thyme for me is that's how I like to store thyme. That's what I really enjoy. I also did a lot of dehydrated thyme. So we were cooking with this, but what happened was these sticks get really hard and really difficult to pick out of your food because they're so brittle. They'll break into all of these little pieces, right? There's lots of flavor in the stick, so I'm not throwing this out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind this up so that I can put it into the meat, because this is also a part of the process, right? Is you want your thyme, your garlic, your green onion, your onion in there, and that's giving the meat the flavor. So I'm just using my coffee grinder down here, and I'll just show you. There we go. Okay, here we go. And this is going to be a little loud. Not quite ground up enough, so I'm just going to do it a bit longer. Not bad, but I'm going to do it a little bit longer. Oh, the dust. Okay, that looks great. I'm going to add this to the pot. And what I might do is I might just grind up all of this thyme so I don't have to add that, step to my meat seasoning. While that is cooking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to boil the water for the noodles. So we always cook this lazy meal, as I call it, with spaghetti noodles. So I'm just putting that on to boil. That's fairly straightforward. I think everybody knows how to cook spaghetti noodles. And once that meat's cooked, I will show you the callaloo. Alrighty, not that you can tell, but that was very fast, and the ground beef is already cooked. So I'm ready to move on to my next step. Oh, it fogged you guys up. So the next step now is adding the callaloo. So the callaloo is frozen. We go straight from frozen to pot. If you don't, the callaloo basically turns black. It's not a great experience. I don't really know if it affects the taste, but like just the color, it throws you off when you're eating it, right? And you can actually kind of see a little bit, let me try and show you. At the bottom here, do you see here where it has melted? It's not quite black yet, but if I'd left that much longer, it would have done that. So I don't know for sure that it affects the flavor, or if it's just like a mental thing that, oh, this kind of looks like it's been, like it's spoiled. I don't know which one it is, but either way, Just don't. Straight from freezer into pot. And maybe it's the same thing for frozen kale and frozen spinach as well. I don't know. I don't do a ton with that. So the other step here right now, you want to be sure you put a bit of water in. Not too much, just a little bit of water in. And butter, a spoonful of butter. It's just required. It's mandatory. 1 spoonful of butter and a little bit of water, and then you're good to go. This is how much water I'm putting in. This is a mason jar. I'm not measuring. You guys are supposed to know by now I don't measure. So here we go. Just enough to kind of cover the bottom of the pot, and then I'm just going to grab my spoon and I'm going to throw my butter in. Butter. And I will show you what's happening over here. I'll make sure I get all that butter off my spoon. I don't know if it's the same in America, but the price of butter in Canada, you want to get every last drop. $7 for a stick of butter. It's wild. It's wild. So here we go. What's happening in this pot? You'll see this big chunk of callaloo is all kind of like stuck together. So what we're going to do with our spoon, hopefully I can show you guys with one hand here, is you kind of want to just slowly like break this apart. And it doesn't take very long, but see how there's like pieces that just kind of like break off? Just like, you know, delicately start breaking it apart. And that's it. And you're just going to mix it up with the ground beef. And then you're just going to let it steam. Just going to put a lid on, let it steam. Just like that. And you don't need to use a pressure cooker, but we've got leftovers in the fridge in our other pot. So pressure cooker and soup pot were what we had left. So we make do. So while this is happening, I'm also just boiling the water for the noodles, just getting that ready. And then really I'm going to steam this for, I don't know, probably 15, 20 minutes. And then that's it. Dinner's ready. It's pretty great. It's a pretty great lazy dinner. I finished work at 5. And then I was kind of, you know, not necessarily immediately cooking, but it's 5:44 now, and by 6, dinner will be done. And I mean, callaloo is super healthy for you. The ground beef that we use is from like a local cow that actually just used to live right down the road from us. So it's a fairly healthy dinner. The noodles maybe are not healthy, but the other thing we do sometimes too is we make this pesto sauce. I'm gonna actually check and see if I have any in the freezer. And then what we'll do is we'll put the pesto on the noodles. The kids don't like it sometimes, but we really like it. And so we will put the pesto on, and then that kind of adds an extra element, an extra flavor. Look at that pesto. Awesome. Okay, so here's the pesto. And this, well, I think there's probably lots of ways to make pesto. Our pesto is made from garlic scapes. So garlic scapes happen, it's long before the garlic is ready to be harvested, but you have to get the scapes at a specific time. You have to get them before the flour comes onto the garlic, right? So this is like the thing, it like comes up in the middle of the garlic. It's a green stick. You have to get that before the flour comes on the plant. Once that happens, the pesto will be, the scape will be pretty hard and not really great to work with. So we take that, we blend it up. I would have to remember exactly what the recipe is, but we typically do ours like dairy-free. A lot of people put dairy in pesto, but we're kind of like a, not necessarily dairy-free family, but like dairy-conscious family. So I do cashew, and I kind of like make it, blend it up with like kind of like cashew butter and olive oil. That's basically it. So we'll add this onto the noodles. Some of the noodles, the kids, they'll just have theirs plain. And then it kind of makes the noodles a little bit better as well. And it gives you that nice garlicky flavor. And at this time of year too, like end of January, lots of flus and stuff going around. So the more garlic you can get into your system, the better that it is. So that's basically it for the lazy dinner. I will show you the finished product. All right, guys, dinner is ready. The kids are eating. Let's see if we can see them. So I didn't give them the pesto noodles, but I just took 2 spoonfuls of the pesto, put it in here, mixed it around. And then here is the callaloo and ground beef finished product. And I'm just sharing it out for myself. I like to eat it in a bowl. And I'm just going to put my ground beef and callaloo on top. And these are the pesto noodles. It's not super aggressive, but I think it's good. Let's see. Beautiful. Ready to eat.
Time you read this,
How's your dinner?
I will be gone, having jumped, having plummeted off the Winter River Bridge. So, I don't care what it takes.